Hello and welcome to this week's show where, as you can remember, last time we had a look at stair falls and the idea behind it and the differences in types of falls, types of stairs, etc., etc. On that similar vein, I thought it might be rather interesting to take a look at car gags, and in particular car turnovers. And there's two major ways to turn a car over, well, three really. In the old days it used to be a ramp. You would run the tyres up the side of a ramp and turn the car over. And then there came a pipe ramp, which you straddle the car along the pipe, kicker on the end, turn the car over. And finally, there is the cannon roll, which is taking the whole ramp concept out completely. You slide the car, hit a button as the driver inside the vehicle, and a nitrogen piston fires out onto the ground, turning the car over. They're all incredibly exciting to look at. They're all very exciting to see on film. Many are incredibly difficult to film. The stunt drivers in particular, those individuals who do this on a regular basis are cool, calm and collected. They have to have a certain mindset. It's not just a simple case of getting in the car and driving at 40 miles an hour at a ramp. They have often work in conjunction with the stunt coordinator, or indeed will coordinate their own gag in certain cases. But I wanted to give you a couple of examples of stuff that I thought was particularly good, and we'll take a little look at some of those earlier pieces of work. We mentioned ramps, often concealed ramps firstly, and they look very much like this. So, this one from Chips, concealed in the sand. Over goes the van. Paul Knuckles, the coordinator on the Chips series, or 138 episodes of it. Anyway, this is the fall guy, Mickey Gilbert. There's a concealed ramp there, look, for the jump. And yet, when the other car comes along, they've got a little pipe there, look. Flicks it up into the air and turns it over. Same idea, different ramp. Here's the Sweeney. This is Peter Braham. There's the ramp. Milk churns on the end of it. Boom, over it goes. Money everywhere. Jag on its side. They've concealed this ramp as a ramp. And then it doesn't go all the way over, look. Flick, comes back over onto four wheels. Concealed this one behind the truck. And the other one here barrels this side, car the other side, ramp in the middle. This is clever. He's dragging a ramp and the van goes up one side and the car goes up the other. It works, you know. Oh, more sand. He's come at that with plenty of welly on. He's got some distance there. Little ramp at the back of the car, of course. Flick the weight over. It's, you know, over he goes. Oh dear, look at the way that cab comes back. And again, drag the ramp. One car goes right over the top. The other car goes up the inside. And the other car goes the other side. You drag the ramp behind you. It's a clever idea. And this one, Everett Creech, from the driver. Look at that. That means business. So there's a very good collection of examples, if you will, of cars coming up concealed ramps. So the stunt driver is having to position the vehicle in such a way that they can run up the side of the ramp, two wheels running up the side of the ramp, turning the wheel one direction or the other at the end of the ramp, causing the car to roll. Now, take that to a stage further. If you run both of the wheels up that ramp, you will be airborne. You will take all four wheels off the ground and you will jump. Well, obviously, in these type of situations, that's not what you want to do. You want to turn the car over. So later on, they developed a pipe ramp. Now, believe it or not, the pipe ramp was, well, really, the first time it was developed was on the film 1941. In 1979, there is a sequence in there where a car is turned over and it runs up and turns over off what appears to be some sort of obstruction in the road. But I think my memory serves, was the first time it was used. On the strength of that, it has gone on to bigger and better things. You now have pipe ramps that are built and constructed which will allow the vehicle to change position in the air considerably. Some of them will, when you arrive, it will simply vertically throw the car up into the air and spin it up into the air at the same time. So they're dramatic leaps and bounds as far as technology is concerned. Looking at a great many of those pipe rolls that we've seen over the years, many ideas, they're often the same. You know, in certain cases, there's still concealment. Having said that, the reaction of the vehicle is very much in the hands of the stunt driver and the speed and the kicker that is placed on the end of it. So you will have a pipe, you simply drive the car over the pipe, and then at the end of that pipe is a metal post. It's a kicker. It grabs the underside of the car and will throw it. 9 times out of 10 will throw it in that direction, and the car will automatically turn over in midair. Where it lands, of course, well, you know, that within reason. If it's travelling at a certain speed and it's got to go from point A to point B, then, you know, a good stunt coordinator, stunt driver will be able to say, yep, I'll be landing right about here. I think I'll come to a stop about here, based on where we are, based on what we've taken out of the vehicle. As with all of those stunts, a fuel cell will be put into it, a petrol tank will be taken out. Too much fuel in a fuel tank, also residual fuel, i.e. remaining fumes, so they take that out and they replace it with a much smaller fuel cell, which will simply contain enough fuel to get from point A to point B, and that's just for the purpose of the gag itself. There is no additional chance of the vehicle catching light, for instance, and bringing extra concern to the driver, the crew, anything else for that matter. So health and safety prevalent as far as these gags are concerned. Overall, from a spectator's point of view, from a punter's point of view, you're in the cinema or you're watching the thing on TV and you see a car flying through the air. Remember those wonderful TV shows from the 1980s, the A-Team were great examples. Here are a few to take a look at and enjoy these. So, ideas of pipe ramps. Look, the pipe ramp built into the sand in this one. Flicks it right over the top. You can see it in the distance, look. And another one straight through the tree. It's the height more than anything. You get lots of height with a pipe ramp. I suppose you can adjust it. This one attached to the front of the oncoming car, flicking it down the road. And this one, I think this is James Armstrong. Look at this, straight up, flick, hits the top of the van, whack, and then get it from another angle there. It's from Charlie's Angels, I think. Go, nose first, brilliant. This is Eddie Braun on the Fall Guy. Look at the height he's got here, the bounce. Look at him go. Oh my goodness. Oh, Eddie. This one, look, they've taken out the pipe completely in CGI. Look. And this one, well, luckily, they lived happily ever after. So I wanted to have a look at Bob Ivy. I think this is a movie called Witchcraft, I'm not entirely certain, but the pipe roll here is sensational. Done in slow-mo, obviously, and landing nose first, a little nose heavy obviously the engine at the front, but we take a couple of looks at it and compare it. And I've always loved this. Pipe roll, it's going through a boat, just misses the camera position. There's a slight kicker on the end of the boat, just on the pipe there, and flipping him up into the air, full 360, landing just there, and there's the camera, just missing it over the top. It flips over the top. There's another great angle from the other side, and you see it coming towards shot, but it's a remarkable gag. He's doing probably 45, 50 miles an hour, maybe, when he hits the ramp, and he said it was quite a strange sensation. There's obviously a roll cage in it, but the roof is coming in. And there was a moment where it was a bit weird. Here's this shot here, look. Up, bang, there's the kicker on the end, flipping him up into the air. And the positioning of it, look, everything just goes nose heavy, and it turns right the way over, landing on the passenger side, as it will be. Just missing that camera. There's the camera, which is covered in the street with that bit of black cloth. Wonderful. Absolutely spectacular. It's still, I mean, Bob Ivy, if you've never checked him out, do. He's got a huge amount of car wrecks in varying shapes and forms. Well worth checking out. This is the other shot I was referring to. It comes through the air now, sticks its nose in. Oh, look at that. Just missing the camera position. It's amazing. People running about, making sure it's okay. Slightly different angle. And this is the approach from the other side. Arriving now, up, full spin over. Ooh, nose down. I never really tire of looking at it. There are some car gags that I don't know, maybe you see them and you think, well, yeah, you know, you've seen one car turn over, you've seen them all, but some are just poetry. I can't explain what it is, but you look at it, you see it, and you go, do you know what, that's pretty fabulous. And certainly this particular gag in this movie is a fine, fine example. This is the other shot. This is the camera on the floor. Up, and the back end just comes over the top of the camera position and leaves carnage everywhere. The wheel hubs are off it. Now, this is possibly, or for me, and I know for many, one of the great car gags, car turnovers of its time. The driver is Russell Solberg, and look at what they do here. This is quite fantastic. It goes, there's the Pepsi wagon that just starts to drift and comes across the road. Up he goes. Boom. Wow, look at that. Crunch. That's spectacular. That really is spectacular. Look, you just see him there with a helmet on, and there is the pipe. They've hidden the pipe in with all the other pipes, of course. It's got a slight kicker on the end of it, throwing it up into the air. And then it goes through the main body of the articulated lorry, semi-truck for you guys abroad. It will have a fuel cell in there. Fuel tank will have been taken out and replaced with just enough fuel to get it from A to B. And Russell Solberg absolutely won a stunt award. This is a movie called No Man's Land, incidentally, if I didn't mention that already, with Charlie Sheen. And big 360 and coming down driver's side, and the impact and everything falling apart, but Russell, although battered, is safe and sound, and goes on to do many more fantastic and extraordinary car gags. But this is really a spectacular example. I mean, it really is top drawer. And there was loads of people at the time who said this was hands down possibly one of the greatest they'd ever seen. And you can see why. So a series of exciting car turnovers. They are done using pipe ramps. The difference in many of those compared to the other ones is much more range. You're expecting the car to be airborne for longer periods of time. The speed will obviously, that will make a great deal of difference as far as the pipe ramp is concerned, the driver is concerned, and as far as the director is concerned. Now take that to a different place, and we have the cannon roll. The cannon roll, again, as briefly explained earlier on, but is a nitrogen system. Does operate on compressed air, but a nitrogen system whereby a physical pillar or post or ram, as it's referred to, is then placed inside the vehicle, often lifted into from underneath. The special effects team and the stunt engineers will work together to create a housing, allowing the encasement of all of this technical equipment in the back of the vehicle. In the front, the driver will still be there, there'll still be the roll cage, there'll still be all the usual precautions. There will be an additional button. It's a firing switch, and is often contained as a button because it's either on top of the gear stick or on top of the brake, the hand brake or emergency brake, as you guys in the States would call it. Because in certain cases the vehicle would have to slide, therefore the brake would have to be applied, and while you've got your hand on it, you may as well push the button as well, which will then fire the piston behind, which will force itself down onto the ground and then push the vehicle over. It is an extraordinary thing to see, to watch. It doesn't matter what the size of the vehicle is, the effect is always very dramatic. And here are a few examples of just that. Cannon rolls are very exciting. Look at this. It just bounces. Look at the big hole where the cannon was. Crumpled all over the floor. This one, cannons fire. They've been removed in post by the looks of things. Two vehicles going together. Very exciting. This is much later on down the line. I'm going to show you the first ever a bit later on. But look at this. In slow-mo, it just kind of look at this. Bottom right-hand corner, there's the cannon after being fired out. The pistons come out, and it lifts clean over the top of the oncoming vehicle. Wow. Or stationary vehicle. See the steam, the steam pouring out of the hole where the pistons come out of? Amazing. Some of these are just terrific. They're very eye-catching. I mean, a pipe roll, a car turning over is magnificent. Look at this. There's the piston right underneath the car. It's been fired out. And again here, no piston. They've removed it with CGI. There's a bit of debris coming along, probably from the top of it. This is the first ever one. This is from the Hitcher. I believe Mike DeLuna and Freddie Heiss are doing this, and Eddie Dono's in the car that's not turning over. There's a big hole in that one where you could see where the cannon had come out from. That was the first time it was ever done. 1986, according to my records. And there again is it. A roll two. So, there you go. A look at three of the most used ways, I guess, of turning vehicles over on film and television. I hope you enjoyed that. A little insight into how it's done. If you'd like more of the same, well, you know, if you've just found me by accident, subscribe. The button's over here. Go and do your thing, and you can catch up on all the bits and pieces that we've done in the past. Go back. There's plenty of other videos to have a shufty at, and there's bound to be something that tickles your fancy. Lots more coming, in also plenty of interviews. I know a lot of you have really enjoyed the interviews I've managed to get over the last little while. You've enjoyed those, so we're going to do some more of those because obviously they're very successful. successful. And we'll regroup next week, shall we, for more of the same. Until then, it's bye for now.